estrellas de cacería.
My name is Celly Q. When I first started rapping, I came out of work and my best friend came into the car and was like, "Oh, you're gonna start freestyling." And I was like, "What?" Like, so we started freestyling and it was really choppy. It was like, oh, here I am, just chilling. And then after just kept going to the car, playing the instrumentals, we ended up making our own CD and we just started rapping and it just became fun. We did it for the fun. I was born in San Diego. I represent Imperial Beach. My childhood growing up, my dad was in the Army, so we've traveled everywhere, and I always just meet people, see different places, and I just grew up very open. So my music from I listen to a variety of genres, and I can't get enough of it. For now, work, music, school, just live life, just do you, find different things, learn, make mistakes, learn from them. Pretty much what my life is right now. As a female artist, just in general, or just as a female, you know, there's always that empowerment of you have to try harder. You have to make sure you're doing more than what's just the bare minimal, because you're competing with the guys, but you're also competing with other females who wants to get in there, and like you gotta, you know, set standards for yourself and still go higher so you can make sure you outshine. Music-wise, definitely Eve. It just inspires me. I mean, I've listened to her songs since I was little, since I was like 8. MC Light, just killer on the mic. J. Cole and Dizzy Ryder are also inspirations for me. Where I see the industry going, I mean, it can go anywhere, really. I mean, it all depends on how you try to gain and what you try to do with the music, and it's not just, you know, me individually, but it's like all the upcoming artists, even the artists that are out there now. I mean, some people once you get to a certain part, you know, some people just put out, you know, crap, and you know, for the industry, it can go anywhere. Like as long as people are still trying to push themselves and still try to have a meaning for music, like how music was back in the day, you know, like. I mean, hey, like it can go anywhere. A lot of music now, it's a little bit more repetitive. It's just, you know, it's the choruses that like stick out the most, and people listen to it just because, oh yeah, I know the only 5 words that the song has over and over again, and then that, you know, you still have artists nowadays like Moto Technique, J. Cole, that tell stories. You know, Kendrick Lamar it's funky. It's not about themselves. It's, you know, more variety, and that's kind of how it was back in the day. Like, even if you were just like, you know, BSing it, it was still a story. It was still something that's not just in a conceited mind. I like drawing. I kind of started getting into that recently. I'll just be on my own and just start drawing, doodling, and I like colored pencils a lot though. They're really fun. I like baking sandwiches and like buying water bottles and just going around like when I'm driving, just give out like to the homeless. That's kind of my thing, or buy them coffee whenever I can. There's only so much you can do, but I mean, I know it's not enough, but I mean, one day I would want to be able to help orphanages out and have them go get shoes, school supplies, clothes, like, you know, sit there and talk with them, hang out with them, you know, like, that would be my goal in the community. You know, those kids that are out there trying to push themselves and they don't have anybody, you know, I want to be able to make that connection with them. My favorite inspirational quote is, "Every day may not be great, but there may be something great in every day." You know, it's something that I remind myself, because there's, you know, shit happens. Everything happens for a reason, and you just got to keep pushing yourself. You know, you may have those moments where you feel that you're low and you're not really climbing a ladder, but you know, you really are. You're making baby steps. So even if you have a bad day, you know, there's always some part of that day where you have a smile or you have a great idea that just makes you like, oh, I got to do that. You know, it's all mental. My favorite story or book would be Tuesdays with Maury. It's a very inspirational book. You know, I was going through kind of a moment where I didn't know where I was going in life, or I didn't know. I was just lost, and I was always angry, always fighting, and you know, I read that book and it kind of taught me how to let go. You know, like, you're living life now. Why should you keep holding grudges? Why should you let your pride get in the way? Like, you know, just do what you gotta do, but do it to make you happy. I mean, when I was little, I would kind of got in a fight with a lot of guys. But I mean, I stood my ground. I didn't want to let anybody like think of me as weak. You know? On my way to work, I'll sit there and I write. I'll be at school, I write. I mean, it goes on and off, you know, writer's block. So sometimes like I'll go like 2 or 3 weeks without doing anything, just going on with life, and then I'll be like, oh boom, I gotta write this, I gotta go in the studio, and like, honestly, I want to be remembered as, you know, the one that never gave up, the person that kept fighting, the one, like, not just as a female, I mean, because, like, you know, there's so many women out there that still haven't really grasped the concept of being an individual. But I want to be remembered as the one that you know, didn't give up, even though life shot all these hard, like, bullets at me. I still stood there and walked, you know? That'd be one thing, definitely. No, I work with Friday 13th, Freddie Crow. Well, not too much Freddie Crow anymore, but definitely gets a good shout out. Nyx on the mix. That's the homegirl. If everything, just about a lot of things in my adulthood that I've learned, I got from her. And, you know, even though she doesn't acknowledge me, she's like stubborn as hell. And I would say this, you know, to the world, stubborn. I think honestly, me and her, like all of our hardships, we've dealt together. We've, you know, helped each other, even though our hardships are completely different. We're there to motivate each other. I mean, she's the reason why I started rapping. She's the reason, you know, she's a great friend to have. I couldn't ask for another one, for a better one. So. Working with Freddie Crow, like it's teaching me different like levels of where I can be, you know, as a rapper, like different styles of music, because the music I listen to is completely different than, you know, what Freddie Crow produces, and it's, for me, I love diversity. I've always been a diverse person, so I want to be able to, you know, work with him, and then I have, you know, another friend of mine that his name is Jay Clay, and I want to start working with him because he's a completely different flow, and I want to be able to, you know, just be diverse. Art, it's a storytelling, whether it's in a painting, it's poetry, it's you know, dancing or rapping or singing. It's you're making a connection with, you know, yourself and whatever artistic thing you're trying to follow. You know, with dancing, you know, you could dance in front of crowds, you could dance just whatever, you know, wherever, and you know, it's like you're trying all these different moves, and you're creating something. It's the creation that is the creation is what makes art so beautiful. Who is Celly Q? I thought you fucking knew.